funny enough, the second meeting did not have any agenda. It was just to meet and to. Yeah. We liked the juice at that point. At that time, they had a very nice juice. So we would also meet to sample something else. And we planned to meet.
Yes, and agreed to come.
She agreed. And she also answered the SMS, or rather she told me that she got home safe. So after that, we met again, and this time we also sampled the fries, and we loved the fries of that place. And I think from there on, we've been meeting at that place, but now also to sample. And the conversation grew. So we'd find ourselves chatting during the day a lot. We'd find ourselves chatting before we slept a lot. Until we got to a point whereby I told her, don't you think that you've fallen in love? And that brought a lot of, it was thought-provoking, if I may put it so. And she asked why. I told her, okay.
No, I didn't even say why. I was like, falling in love. What is actually falling in love?
And I had to tell her, okay, the reasons as to why I put it so. Yeah. One is, what's the first thing you do in the morning when you wake up? It was texting me. What's the last thing you do before you sleep? It was texting me. Yeah. So during your day, what occupies most of your day? Chatting with me. Yeah. So what changes if we start dating today? Nothing. We are going out. We are we apparently we talk the last before we sleep. We talk the last before we wake up, and our day is so much about just us being in our own spaces. And I think that is also what now led us into dating. That is is there a different version?
Yes, there is a totally different version.
Versions are good. Versions are good.
So he asked me that. Me, I thought, sasa umeanza stories za love hapa katikati, my friend. And then anatubia, don't you think you're falling in love? I was like, me falling in love. Me falling in love. I think me falling in love becomes those soap operas. Like, there is an atmosphere of romance or something, just, you fell down and then you picked up something and that's how you connected. So me say that you think you fall in love, your version yake. So I only fall in love, but my version of fall in love is a romantic episode. Something I just like, it's like, what, a butterfly. For me, there was not like a butterfly moment. No. But now, funny thing is, when he said that, now I started thinking about it. Yeah. Not admitting, like, oh, okay, maybe. But I had friends who are guys and who talk, so I never thought in a lead up, because me with my friends, we talk and talk and talk and talk. So him, it was not any unusual. Maybe the only thing was that he was a new person in my life. Who hatukuwa tumejuana. Me, I'm a keep of friends. Like, I have friends ever since primary. Wow. And I'll stay with my friends until I plan even as we go old. Me, I'm a keeper. So, me sikuwa kama ni anything. If we talk last night, tomorrow morning, me truly, ni sawa, we are conversing. It is fine. Yeah. That is why I'm very protective of my space. So I won't reply to you at uniambo umefika home. So that was my point. Yeah. If you're not my friend, I'm not bringing you close. Until now, one time, kwa fellowship, Jonah, and with his charismatic ambience of helping people. So, time ya kwenda home, he starts escorting. So, anaambia some certain lady, tell me when you get home. I was like, oh, so funny thing, see me peke yangu. Like, oh my God, it's not me. And then he even further goes to mzindikisha. Hey, because at that time, normally I would go home. I would have one of the chairman of the fellowship, because he used to be my friend, and used to stay around that same area in Kabeti. He would drop me. So mimi najua bado mambo ya matatu sana. So anazindikishana, and I'm like, well, maybe haunizindikishi kwa sababu mimi ni wa kwa tu hadi hapa kwa parking lot. But anamwambia ati, let me know when you get home. I'm like, who does that? So this is a rapport where you do with all other people. Me, I was mad. Ati now anyana nakuja kuniambia, actually you're supposed to tell me when you get home. And I was like, oh, I won't even text this person. So you think this, me, I'm like your other friends. Hey, you'll know. Akatuma text. Me, go reply. The next morning, I did not reply. He called. I did not pick that call. I think maybe I did Jonah. I was like, oh, let me have some mercy. the Lord will show mercy to
But there was no interest. Now you see that is what even sparked the relationship. And that is the question that came now from there. If there is no interest, why are you mad about it?
Yeah.
And that question came out. There was no interest, of course, as she said. And she also said it a couple of times. There was no interest. We are friends. Aren't we friends? So if you are friends and we are doing everything as friends, I'm asking you to tell me when you get home to make sure you're safe as a friend.
Yeah.
I'm escorting you as a friend. What is the issue if I'm doing it to another friend? There is no issue.
Yeah, but it makes sense.
It makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
That is where now the problem came in. And I asked her, when she confronted about it, I asked her, so what is your issue with me doing what I'm doing with the other friends, because you are all friends? And you have not yet fallen in love. And you say it's not love. There is no spark. So that became also some other thought-provoking some more. Because it's, let's do it as friends. This is what I do with friends. Friends care. I would have done it to a guy.
Yeah.
Would you still have asked the same question? It wouldn't have been there. But you are able to ask such questions because there are feelings involved.
That's
No, I'm like, is the lot of about my life. Does it mean you also ask the same things about other ladies? So sasa my share to the weighing scale. Oh wow. Oh.
And
wow.
now that is where the
No.
issue came in. We
No,
are
for me,
friends.
that is
wrong. For me, I am a believer of, I'm a keeper. So wewe tena, I am open up to, I'm bringing you into my space. Then tena, kwa nini tunashare?
Apana.
But now you see the other aspect. The other aspect of it is what was there to be shared. This is me and how I relate with people. Doesn't have anything to do with you. When you start asking for special treatment, then you need to be special.
wow.
Because you are asking me to treat you differently, but you don't want to have a different name. Unataka kukua kwa group, but usititiwe ni kama uko kwa group. Now that is where also I think it's accelerated us to date.
Yeah.
I proposed.
No, before he proposed, so I told him, make your intention straight, by the way, because now kama even ndo kusindikisha na mabeshte, and then he was like, okay,
So it worked.
Okay.
There's
Then
a
it's like,
strategy.
wow, by the way, come to think about it.
No, it was not a strategy. No.
Aye.
There was no strategy.
Anyway, so I'm like, tell me your intentions.
Yeah.
Kitu straight up, because I think I'm a very professional person. Hi, bye, like very strategic. B, sema kenya unataka tukisonga.
Yeah.
Then he says, I actually like you a lot. I was like, oh, you do? Oh wow, that's really, really nice. Me, I never said I like you back.
And that was on phone.
Yeah, that was on phone. Actually,
Ni kama wamedema
that
love
particular
ya kuambia thank you.
It was on phone, and it was just to cool down because apparently alikuwa amejam over me treating her as a friend and I'm treating everyone else as a friend. So I think, and I made it so clear even at that moment, if there is proposing, I will not propose over the phone. There are things I don't do.
Yeah.
So if it is proposing, we'll have to have a sitting to propose, but I've not yet also decided on that direction. Yes, so I think that was...
But actually, funny thing is, sometime back, after one of those early meetings, before he drama really happened, he had actually told me that I really like you a lot.
It was the first meeting.
It
was the first meeting.
Forgive my...
First meeting.
Mnatuambia kuwa na interest.
Well,
It was the first meeting. Wait to hear the story.
Well, I decided by the way,
What did I tell you?
So he told me like, I like you a lot and we are gonna date sometime. Me, I was like, us dating.
there was and funny enough, there was no interest. And the other aspect of it was, she also told me, your future, I don't know how it will look, but I'd like to be part of your future. I don't know even where.
Yes.
In the first sitting. So those two things were out there. Yeah. Regardless of what time they would happen, it was out there. And then my future was not futuristic at that moment. But this is future now. So
I think for me, I guess to see someone who has potential, and I affirm them. I really affirm people. Like, I see you're good at this, I'm going to do. So me, I was actually just telling him, so this current season you're in, like, don't despise it. like I hear you have a bright future, and I would really like to be in it, not as a wife. Actually, by the time matter by
She
this
didn't
one,
even. She made it so sure that she doesn't know how she'd want to be in it,
yeah.
or rather, she also didn't know how she will be in it.
Yeah.
And that was an open thing, and open sometimes is good because it allows you to breathe. It allows you to make decisions.
Yeah.
So basically, that is how it went. We decided to meet. So we had a sitting. We planned for a sitting on our restaurant. Now we had already settled on what we were taking.
Yeah.
Now we used to take fries and tea. They had a very nice tea. Fries and tea. And the backstory, this one I'll go back to it about the tea stuff. Yeah. So and I proposed, and the proposal was, you can share that.
Oh yeah. So now after that drama, and then now he tells me, now let's come and have a talk about this.
Strategy.
After
After
that
he says I like
drama,
you a lot.
after his drama, after her drama,
Guys should see Jonah for strategy. Hey.
But then I was
It's
like,
a strength.
but then mtu ni mpoa. So don't let Kampucha. Oh, but then this is such a nice guy. Oh, he also has eyes for other people. Oh, okay. Maybe you have been taking other people for coffee and drinking. So let me know. So I was coming to that meeting to know my space.
Yeah.
Maybe we have been 15 of
and
us.
she's a friend.
15
To
of
know
us.
her space as a friend.
15 of us.
15 friends.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we saw him. He tells me. So before that before we met the previous night, he told me, by the way, if I'm to propose, I can do it via phone.
Yeah.
So I would do it when we meet. I was like, oh, anyway, me, I'm not actually going for a proposal. I'm going to address this main thing. So that's why I showed up. Ningechobe proposal, but then give a nice thing. And I look and took a picture.
You'd have prepared to say no and to give me a spiritual answer. Church people.
Anyway, see now I show up. So this time it was early. Now apparently, I think the first meeting, by there I don't appreciate lateness. So all the dates he was very early. So I would go and find him sitting, waiting for me. And at times I would come like 30 minutes late, and I'm like, it's fine. A man has to wait.
Yes.
So of course, even
I'm still
that particular
waiting.
date, he waited for me. So Smin Mefika, Amesha order is drinking. I think we're drinking juice or something. So I'm like, okay, let's get the story. Because akuna story mob sasa hapa. We sema whatever you have to say. So we talk about that whole episode of the other night, and it's okay, fine. Let's now address this.
Wait, let me interject here.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
When Jonah, you were telling this other lady to tell you when they get home, did you know she was there?
No, it wasn't intentional. It was me.
Oh.
It was me, and as she introduced me, I get to know people. I get to care 100%. And as much as I do, I'm also I am overprotective of my space.
Yeah.
I don't do it with everyone.
Yeah.
There are people that I work with for a lifetime. If I'm able to say Danji, I'm able to go beyond the name. I'm able to give you a history. If I'm able to say you are my friend.
Yeah.
So funny enough, or rather how I operate, if I may put it so, I don't call everybody friend.
Yeah.
And if I call you friend, I have a testimony of you. I am able to give you a background. You say, this is what he's been doing, this is where he is, this is where his life is, this is what is. Because one of the things, or rather another gifting which I have, is when I pray for people for specific things. Yeah. And that means I need to know you specifically. I don't do surface friendship. I don't do how do I put it? I don't do like joint prayers, if I may put it so. I pray for specific things. So that means I need to know. So that is how I am able to tell another person, tell me when you get home.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That it was not a line.
At least you understand how equal strategy.
Haikuwa strategy, haikuwa sikia alafu aseme akisikia. No, it wasn't
But
as such.
I thought this is a Christianese way of wooing someone.
And she didn't ask.
Oh,
And it's a journey of asking. I struggle with assumptions.
Yeah.
If you because I'm a straight shooter. If you ask me, I will tell you straight. But if you assume, I enjoy the moment. I'm also a strategy. If you assume, I enjoy the moment of you struggling with the assumptions.
So imagine the conflict of two strategists. you're strategizing and so we have to meet at the middle. So now we met at that.
Yeah.
So he had juice on that day. So I'm like, my friend, let's get this thing done. Actually, nilikuwa nimepatia 2 hours, but then I really need to leave.
2 hours
so
which she
go
came late.
early.
And then she came late.
Yes.
But then
In
nilikuwa
those 2
na
hours.
attitude hiyo siku.
Because I was treating her as a friend. And she's a
No,
friend.
we were talking to the other lady anyway. Okay, nini ilikuwa mbaya.
Love.
Anyway, this is how we met. So we talk. Kwanza nimeboeka, amesema stories zake zote, and then he ends up and saying, actually, would you be my wife? I'm like, hey, wait, my friend. So first I even kept quiet. Who proposes by saying, can you be my wife? Will you be my, that's what you said, will you be my wife?
I like to date you for marriage.
Oh yeah, that's what you said.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Straight shooter, manzi.
Nilinyamaza. I think I just kept quiet.
And you are in which year?
I was in first year. I was.
Yes.
Do you know that period in public universities, you're in, where you finished your first year, but you're not in second year, you're on your long holiday.
Yeah.
You see, that time I was doing my driving. You need to like spend that time. So that period before going back to school.
Of course, she didn't say yes. She needed to pray about it. Yes. So we gave it time, and for me, one of the things that I insisted, because I think I've been in these circles for long, for Christianist circle, I insisted on time. So how long do I give you to pray? I can't wait for 5 years because you are
They
praying.
have a different version. So, who asks you, Ati, can you be my wife? Wait, those are strong words to use. Like, wife, I'm making a commitment. And then there was this thing my mom used to tell me, you know, don't be that girl who breaks people's hearts. God doesn't take breaking people's heart lightly. It's a sin to do that. So I was like, hata si girlfriend by the way, sasa ni wife. And I just didn't want to say yes and I didn't want to say no, because I don't ever want to be. I am not so sure. First we were having a conflict defining what this is, and then now you're straight to a wife thing. Me now my friend, allow me to pray about it. Of course, who doesn't pray about everything? Actually, the Bible says that you do what? In everything, you make a request unto God.
Should it be before or after? Okay.
Before the ground. So sir, yeye nikamwambia, allow me time to pray. And who is Jonah? Jonah unajua anasema nini? Tell me the date, the time frame.
I agree.
How long?
Most guys huku nje wamekwama ndio wajapewa time frame.
By the way, sorry kwa wase wenye bado wanangojea hiyo feedback. Because you never set parameters well.
Exactly.
Uliza tu una pray how long? Is it 2 weeks? Is it 3 weeks? Is it 4 weeks? So that
But God atani answer lini.
they allow you to go.
He's a god of order.
And also we also take it as if it's something major because you are praying for that. And at the end of the day, we forget that you are holding people that would have all continued on with their lives.
Yeah.
And chances 80%, that season for praying, for most people, especially ladies, when they say they are praying, they are really weighing options.
That's true.
That is now, for me, I didn't want to be weighed.
Kulikuwa na James, kulikuwa na
Sasa huyu na huyu. Wacha nione within this time nani atanitreat, nani anapeleka out, umse ako aje in life. So for me, I wanted...
Unataka competition?
No, not competition, options. I didn't want to be an option.
Yeah, no one wants to be an option.
And I wanted to set parameters straight.
Yeah.
So how long are we waiting? And in this season, we're not just waiting. In this season, as you are praying, how do we handle this? Do we still meet? If we meet, what do we talk about?
Oh man, these are nuggets people should take.
Yeah.
As in, these are things people need to highlight from the word go.
Yeah.
So for us, it worked. She took how long? 3?
So I was like, nimekuwa kwa box. And I was like, okay, fine. Now God, I do not want to impose something. I was like, I just said 3 days.
3 days.
Imagine. I was even like, now when I was going back home,
I asked if
I was
she was
like,
sure.
what? Did I just say 3 days? Who says 3 days? My good God. Sister, answers zitatoka wapi. But I just remember telling him, we are going to talk.
Yeah.
Like, feel free to text me, but do not bring this subject on. Let's just talk about any other thing.
Yeah.
But do not ask anything about dating, relationships, or anything that provokes towards that end. Or a movie, sijui nini, ama a song. Don't send me a song. Actually, never even used to send me a song. No, so nothing. So maybe ilikuwa to just the random things. How are you? You had a good day? Hivyo tu.
Yeah.
And then now, during that time, our church had a conference, the Easter conference.
Yeah.
That period, their Easter season. So there was a conference in church. And I was like, wow, God, I've just put myself in a fix and I need to unfix myself.
Yeah.
And I told him, I know marriages are made of you. I don't think I am ready. Because you never think in first year, like I was heading to second year, my goals and ambitions are not for marriage. Me, my goals and ambitions were I finish my graduate, I do my masters, I go to America. I get married to a mzungu.
Wow. Hey.
Yeah. So even now when him is saying marriage,
First year dreams.
Look at God. Alikupea melody.
Mzungu, like, this is what they come to Kenya for. This is what they pay for.
hey.
You got it free.
So I went, and that evening I asked God, so there's a proposal of marriage, and we are here. How fast? In my first year, it was not in my plans on who's gonna date. Well, dating yes, but not for marriage in first year, because I had my own dreams, and I didn't even tell my friends. Funny thing, when all this was happening, I didn't tell my friends. I didn't tell my parents, and we are close. So when I come to think about it, and I was like, actually, what was all this all about? So I went and told God, now, me, the only thing I can come up with is something regarding my season. And that year, God's word to me was, behold, I'm doing a new thing. See, now it actually springs up. Like, don't you perceive it? That is in Isaiah 43:18-19. And then it was like, forget the former things, for behold, I'm doing a new thing. And I was like, oh God, me, I'm just gonna put you into a game, because sister, I have 3 days and I don't know anything. And I remember there's this verse that says that ask God for a sign. I can't remember what, but there's a place where you test God and ask him, like, give me a sign. Should I? And this was what David would inquire of the Lord. And he would do, like, if it's you, should I do this? And I went and told him, God, I'm inquiring. You said any big decision, any small decision, you inquire of me. And I told him, it's a new season for me. I don't know what you're doing, and I know you're doing something new. So funny thing, when Jonah was asking me this question, my ex had come back, because I was previously dating for a longer time and then had broken up. So he had come back into my space. So me, I thought, like, forget the former things, behold, I'm doing a new thing and it's more of restoration. It's my ex guy, he's now coming back into my life. And then it's not the ex guy who's asking me out, it's a new guy. So I was like really confused, because the word was restoration. And then again, you were saying, if behold, I'm doing things, like, forget the former. I was like, aye, sasa ini nini? And I'm like, oh, sawa. So me just told God, mi nachukua Isaiah 43:18-19. Mi kachukua to 43 plus 18 is 61. Because I only have 3 days and I need an answer. So I told God, me, I am giving you figure 61. Where it's gonna come from, I don't know, but that's my sign to you. So if this is the guy, bring a 61 sign, because that's the only way I'm gonna know we are moving. And I knew he's not 61 years old. Yeah, I was very sure he's not 61. His birthday is not 1961, because wewe utakuwa age mate ya wazazi ama kina sijui. And I was like, God, that's the season you're bringing me into. You said it's a new thing. Forget the former things. My ex is here. Then there's Jonah. I'm like, what? And my ex was really good. No, not just letting my ex because of what? Him is not born again. Me, I'm born again. And then now he was willing to change. And then there's now this guy who's now born again. And I'm like, wow. It's a big a jungle to do it. And I'm like, he's not my mzungu. Because even the fact that I was breaking up with my ex, I was like, yeah, God has good plans for my life. And mzungu is going to show up. So that night, it was on a Friday. I left. Jonah called. The entire day I hadn't spoken to him. So this guy is now worried. And then he's calling, I'm not picking up. And I'm like, I thought we said 3 days. But according to him, the 3 days were yes, we also get to talk.
According to us.
Yeah, yes, it was true, according to us. So me, I'm like, it's 9, why are you panicking? like 3 days haijaisha, nimeweza kuwa nimeamua tu tunyamaze leo pekee, and it's the first day.
Which
I called
which
back.
there was need for communication.
Anyway, I called back and I told him I was in church and I could not get back to you.
Yeah.
And I was like, anyway, we'll see about it. Do you know the next morning of Saturday, this guy wakes up and sends me a scripture. So mimi nafungua, and the first thing of course you do is check your phone to see if there are new messages, and I'm like, oh, there's a new message from him. Guess what it was? Isaiah 61, the entire chapter. Hey! Me, I'm like, hey.
Oh my God.
Prayer works.
What? This was fast. I think I even told God,
What?
which is a game. This was so fast. Like, jana usiku niliomba, leo asubuhi it's a 61 figure, and I was like, so me, I asked him, because normally he has never sent me a devotion. Never sent me a devotion. So I asked him, hey, niaje leo umentumia devotion? He's like, I just felt God leading me to send you this scripture for today.
Man, you can't make this
I was
stuff
like,
up.
wow. Oh, wow. But of course, with grace, I cannot admit that I have an answer. I was like, well, okay, thank you for sending it. I appreciate it.
What?
And I just knew I had my answer. So I didn't tell him anything that day. Then now on Sunday, I needed to be sure. Because I'm like, oh, ama labda nilona vitu zangu. And then on Sunday, guess what the preacher talked about? It was Isaiah 61.
Wow.
So that was it.
Like a confirmation.
Yeah.
A confirmation.
Exactly. And then now, funny thing, Jonah at my parents' place, because it's a Christian home, even after church, the only thing that's in a home is family TV.
Yeah.
So that particular day, I think it was Joel Austin who was preaching, because Joel Austin, family TV ilikuwa inaleta Joel Austin on Sunday evening. And he was also preaching about Isaiah 61, and then that brought out the purpose that God had actually told me. So I went back to my devotions, and I saw actually God had actually spoken to me about Isaiah 61 at a particular time. I just wrote it down, but I never like intentionalized to read and meditate about it. So that Sunday evening, I told him, oh, by the way, I have an answer for you, because of course 3 days were elapsing. I just told him, by the way, I have an answer for you. And then he was like, anyway, you won't tell me about phone again, this will need a date. I'm like, where is it? I was like, this hour.
I have issues with phone communication, especially for such things.
Yeah.
I love stories.
Yeah.
Good stories.
Yeah.
In our dating and also into our marriage, one of the things that I think I shared with her, and I also made it clear to myself, we need to make a story for our kids. I won't tell my kids that I propose through the phone. No, let's make a beautiful love story.
Yeah.
And we have the power to do it, because it's our journey.
Yeah.
And that is why I was so against phones. Uniambie nimekubali. Like, I don't see your reaction. I don't know if you're telling. I don't see anything.
Yeah, that's what.
And you're living with your parents.
Yeah.
So I'm not so sure saa hiyo umepata opportunity ya kuniambia juu umetumwa kwa duka kununua mboga. Like what are you doing when you are telling me? For me really matters that your mind is there.
The whole.
Yes.
Wow.
Auku toka, like you didn't soak your clothes, came and tell me, then go back to continue doing laundry. It needed to make sense to me, and rather I enjoy such moments.
Yeah.
So we organized another meeting. It was on a Tuesday.
Yeah, so
on
I thought,
Monday.
that was on a Sunday. I thought he's gonna, because he needed the answer, he would say like Monday. Kumbe hata hana haraka. He said on Tuesday. I was like, oh, it's fine, because again, that would be the time I'd be in town. And now we met on that.
School was
Tuesday.
School was closed.
I wasn't
she was on holidays.
doing driving still.
And okay, she was also doing driving. So we met on Tuesday, and we went through it. Na kaniambia, okay, it's a yes. These are the confirmations I got. I said, let's do this, and it was for marriage. But then again, we had to define a lot of things. I love definitions. We had to define a lot of things. One of the things that she confirmed is that we have called ourselves divine since we started dating.
No, it's me who called you divine.
She called me divine, but she also defined divine as us.
Yeah.
So she defined what it meant
Yeah.
for us and our relationship and also our marriage and how it should be. But we also needed to define when are we getting married, one, because you cannot get married right now. And for me, it was so important on what are we doing before we get married. Like, we are waiting 3, 4, 5 years. What are we doing in those years? We are not just dating. Dating is not doing anything. We cannot be waiting for a date. So what are we doing? So we had to define what we are doing and our work and what it entailed, and that is what we did on that.
But umeenda mbali sana. So see, now that Tuesday we met.
Yeah.
So me I just ate. Of course I'm late. Of course.
And we see who's late. We see.
No, for dating.
No, I understand.
For dating.
Thank you.
When you're dating, you just don't enter the same time.
You make sure the guy waits for you.
Yeah.
And you carry it in marriage.
So I found him and I'm like, okay, now I have an. Actually, we didn't even talk about it. Hata hakuwa na haraka ya kupata answers. Sijui nini ilikuwa mbaya. Ulikuwa unajua
No, it was so for me, because I'd prayed about it and I was waiting for a confirmation, I definitely knew what to expect, because it was the decision was based also on a lot of prayers. So even when we met, that is why sikuwa na haraka sana ati atasema yes or no. It was from my side it was a done deal. Yes, sijui mbona alikuwa na pressure ya kuniambia ama ya mimi kuuliza.
Well, unajua, so I had given him he told me that let's wait until Tuesday.
Yeah.
So I thought the main agenda of this meeting is to address this whole thing. Like, I finally had the answer. Yeah. So what's next about this thing? But now we started now talking about other stories. So apparently, where we're serving in the fellowship where we used to go down to do missions, they were going for a mission, right, to Samburu.
That is after she gave me feedback. I think we need to go from the aspect after you gave me feedback. Then we shall go to that one.
Oh yeah, okay.
So there was the question of feedback. Apparently, she gave me the feedback. Then she said yes. Then we needed to define what this yes meant.
Oh, yeah.
So what are the do's and don'ts? Because for us, we needed to lay everything just bare. We didn't want to have the aspect that, okay, so we are saved. Saved people do not have sex, or saved people do not do this. It's an assumption. So we needed to set everything bare. One of the things that we did was that, how do we define it? So we defined the do's and the don'ts in the relationship. And we had a very nice and a moment that helped us a lot in our relationship.
Yeah.
Because
like a tagline or something.
Not even a tagline per se, but because we had come from different angles, we were in our 20s. We had lived for 20 years plus. She was not in my past, I was not in her past. So one thing we said, and it was so specific, is that we decided to ask ourselves, like, tell me 3 things that if I heard about you today, it would break my heart, or rather it would make me not feel good, even it is to do with your past.
Yeah.
So that was the first thing we did when we agreed to start dating. So she told me her 3 things and I told her my 3 things. So for that it was, there are those things that kuna mtu akisema kuhusu your past, the person you are dating at that moment,
I never signed up for this.
Yes, but it had nothing to do with them because it was based in your past. So as we wanted to put it out there and put it so plainly, we didn't want to hide it. Ikuwe ati unajua sikusema alafu nikwambie ilikuwa past au kuwa part of it. So that really helped us to just know that this is this kind of guy and this is what I should expect from the kind of guy. So after settling that, we had a tagline.
Oh yeah, we did.
Which was?
We talk about everything and anything.
Wow.
Yeah. Everything and anything. We share about it. Like, nothing goes, like, there's nothing you cannot share with me.
Yeah.
Regardless of, hata kama itanikasirisha, or I'll feel bad about it, or it's something about your past that will bring up something in our future, just say it. Yeah.
That was a very nice, it was also a game changer, because now it allowed me to be able to be open to her, and it allowed her to be able to be open to me. It bonded our friendship. That is one of the things that made us best friends. Until today, we are able to be open up about anything. And it also spilled down in our circles, to the extent that by then we used to tell people, if you don't want my girlfriend to know about it, don't share it with me.
Oh, yeah.
It is as simple as that. Because now you are asking me to hide what you will tell me. If she asks me, what do I say?
Yeah.
So if you are not ready, because now this is part, she is my future, she's my best friend. if in any case you want for me to help you or rather stand with you in something, I'll need to go through her.
Yeah, that's true.
If I am struggling with your issue, she's the one that will feel it, because I won't be myself when I'm with her. So we needed to lay it bare. And it also helped. The other thing which we talked about that moment, which was way crazy, is after that, the following day, was it?
No, wait first. So remember now, there was this lady who had like ulikuwa umemzindikisha something like that. So I needed to make it straight up, like, so where are we with, I know, because like how would you just do it? Like, what's the extent to friendships, like, and boundaries? And I see with me, I am very close to people, like the people who have been in my life longer, I take time with them. And that meant there were friends in my life who are men, and they were like my best friends. Was one particular one who was very close. Actually, so that guy, we have been friends for 12 years. But so niko high school alikuwa best friend yangu. So una imagine uko na a male best friend, and then there's now a guy who's coming into your life who's going to be a boyfriend. So I remember telling him, because normally I would just share with him most things. Now there's a new guy who now I need to, because we say now we have to share about everything and anything. So I remember one thing we talked about was the boundaries with the opposite sex, and also the fact that siku anajua kama umekatia mtu mwingine, and then unajua you never share with someone like I have been eyeing someone else, because I never know, like maybe nikisema no kulikuwa na another after me, kutakuwa na mtu mwingine.
Kulikuwa na line?
Sijui kama kulikuwa na line, labda kulikuwa na line.
You didn't know if kulikuwa na line ama kulikuwa na line.
But me, I needed to be sure. And I think from that we agreed that if something that you cannot talk with your boyfriend when akiwa hapo, like I would want to make it as a secret, like I can't tell you, then that is just too far. Okay. So we agreed that even with friendships with the opposite sex, if that person cannot be his friend, like the guys who are my friends, if they cannot be his friend or they feel insecure, in a way, itamanisha this cannot happen, because now you see you have to put now boundaries. There's a new person in my life. I cannot share everything now with my best friend. Now he has to become that best friend. And then that also kind of separated now me and that best friend, because now I told him now I'm dating, and now I cannot tell you everything. That space has to be taken. So unajua, even friendships and the girlfriends who I used to hang out with, now I have time to ingisha space yake. So I won't tell you everything about my dating life. I need to put closure. And I think that was something we talked about, like how far is too far, how the conversations, and how do we tell people about us. But now imagine, after all that, the best part is that nimempatia answer, he's happy. And then
we are happy.
We are okay.
We are happy.
We are happy.
The prayer season has ended. The Lord has answered.
That was for you, babe.
No, you're also looking for a confirmation. So we are happy.
Yes, we are happy. And then now, after that, he breaks some news. Ati, now I'll be traveling tomorrow to Samburu for a mission. And I'm like, wait, tumeanza kudate sahi, kesho unaenda Samburu. And then he told me like, unaenda, it was like 2 weeks.
21 days.
Oh yeah.
21 days.
Yes.
It was to be 2 weeks, then it ended into yes.
But now at that time, mtu akikwambia unaenda Samburu, I'm like, there's no network. It's interior. Then it's a mission.
Security.
And I was like, wow, I thought it should be a honeymoon period, and now we are dating, so tomorrow we are meeting. I'm like, oh, kuna network. So eventually, it was now on Thursday, you guys were traveling or something. So he traveled to Samburu. So there is no network. So it has graduated from newly dating
To no network.
To no network.
There were some spots of network, some spots which apparently if you are going through that route.
You if you want to send someone a text, text it unaandika ile
Yes.
unataka kuandika, and then unafinya send unarusha simu juu. And ikiokota network by the time you are catching your phone inakwambia message send.
No, what helped? You do the same. You write, then you press send. Then probably when you are traveling from one place to another, in between, if there is a network, the messages will go.
Okay.
But it also determines because now the person that was hosting us for the mission knew the network zones. So when we got to a place whereby there was network, he would tell us there is network here. If you go this direction, you'll find network. You can make the phone calls. And also one of the things that worked to advantage is the week prior to that, Safaricom had started putting a booster in that area.
Okay.
So it wasn't all of those days that you didn't have network. But now also the issue was we were not stationed at one place. So when we traveled, because that was the center, when we traveled, we went to places which did not have networks. So that was some crazy good time.
So eventually spent a whole month.
21 days.
Okay,
21.
It has been the longest time ever.
And I'm reminded of that until today.
So you can't, and then we had agreed we'll not tell our friends that we are dating yet until 3 months.
3 months. It's part of what we agreed on. We would not share with anyone until we have, until after 3 months, and 3 months we had things that we are supposed to do so that we are solid on it. And also we didn't want people to guess it out or think that they know from the telltale signs. So what we did is we intentionally chose a day to share and who we should share with. So that we didn't want to be the people that your friends know that you are dating by seeing how you relate. We wanted it to come from us so that they also know where we are putting them in terms of that relationship. And I think after 3 months we did it.
Yeah. So after 3 months we called all our friends, because majority of them used to go for fellowship together. That was after he had come from Samburu. Actually, how he had come from Samburu.
I was doing the work of the Lord.
I think part of one thing I didn't think about that time is that I signed up my life for ministry in a bigger chunk. Like, how do you just propose to someone and them to end up ministry mission? Like, who does that?
You see, one of the things that came up that you didn't have time to discuss is that the mission wasn't an abrupt mission. It was a planned mission. And now because I've proposed today, I can't push the mission. We had a whole team that was going for the mission. I had been trained for the mission. I was ready for the mission. I had been praying for the mission. I had prepared for the mission. So we had to do the mission. And then also, I am one person that usually asks myself, or rather balances, what do we gain? What do we lose? If for those 21 days I never attended the mission, the question would be, what would I have been doing with that? Because we don't stay together. We are not neighbors. Probably would be meeting, or rather we'd met at most 4 times in those 21 days. So why not go to ministry? That's how I balanced it. And I went, and funny enough, the following year we went with her to the same place, and she got the experience.
It was 2 years later.
2 years.
Yeah.
2 years, yes. We skipped a year. 2 years later we went, and she saw my heart for the place. It's a very nice place in Samburu. It's like 4 hours from the nearest town, which is Baragoi. It's beautiful.
Yeah, so I think basically that. So now when he came back from Samburu, that was now when we had an actual date.
I was actually going to get to that point.
Yeah.
Like with his crazy schedule, 21 days after he has proposed to you to be his girlfriend, or rather wife.
Yeah.
How was your dating life like mlikuwa mnafanya, what kind of activities were you guys doing, like how, because I'm assuming in a Christian setting things are different.
Yeah.
You can't go to a house and watch a movie, stay alone.
Yeah.
What were the kind of activities? What kind of activities were you guys doing? And as you tell us about your first date, maybe you can incorporate the two and tell us about your dating period and how long it lasted for.
Yeah. But then what did you do when you came back?
We met. I came back and it was a Friday. We met on Saturday. One of our friends was having a pre-wedding.
Oh,
So I
yes.
surprised her at the pre-wedding. She was very surprised to see me at the pre-wedding. That is how we met. That is how I came back. Then we planned to have a meeting, or rather have a date the following week.
Yes.
We went to the same place where I proposed.
No, we didn't go there.
When did
We went to Arboretum.
our first date was at Arboretum,
Yeah.
yes. And it was...
Actually, what he told me was, we have a lot to catch up, and it will be like an entire day.
yes, we started early in the morning.
Yeah.
Around 10.
Because one, I just needed to know how Samburu,
Yeah.
then me, what I've been doing.
Yeah.
And the restaurants could not surface that because it wouldn't have been opened by 10. And you
Yeah.
would have spent a lot of money. I don't know what you'd been eating from 10 to like 4, 5.
Yeah, also remember he had spent most of his money than doing your mission. So now when he was coming back, I think he told me, that was one thing, he was very open about his finances.
Yeah.
He told me, right now, my finances are not very good because I understood he was in the mission.
Yeah.
So would you be okay if we went out for an outdoor at Arboretum? And I was like, well, at a stay and oko pick other than zile na church na groups na
Yeah.
nini. So I was like, well, why not? So we went. So we passed through Uchumi. Hapo Anniversary Towers.
Yeah.
Hapo like kando kulikuwa na Uchumi.
Like a camel.
Yeah. Hiyo
Anniversary
kuchua
Towers,
Anniversary
near-
Towers. Karibu
Uchumi,
ni
Yes.
karibu na hiyo end.
Yeah.
So unajua bado mimi bado sijajua tao vizuri.
Yeah.
So I still know my marks are very particular. So we met there, went to Arboretum. We catched up about how he has been, how I've been.
Yeah.
And I think after that we took some time before going to Arboretum.
We detect, but it became one of our go-to places.
Yeah.
It was a relaxing and restful place for us, especially now because we didn't have a lot of money to spend.
Yeah.
And also when we needed time, a lot of time to spend together.
Yeah.
So that was
At a Memorial Park, we really went there.
and
It's restaurants.
Memorial Park outdid Arboretum.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we went there for because it was 60 shillings.
Yeah,
30, it was 60 shillings. So we just buy drinks at either Naivas or Nakumat,
Yeah.
cross the road, go, spend time there. And meetings at, let me call them meetings, not dates as such, at Memorial Park were crazy. We usually had a book.
We had a yellow book.
We had a book and a pen because those were meetings.
So
Those were
funny
planning
thing,
meetings.
So this is what happened.
We
With
need
the
to
yellow
do it.
book, I think mimi nilisema I would want us to have a vision for
Yeah.
our relationship. Hey, nilikuwa focused.
Relationship.
I think I need to do that now in
Still
our
have that
marriage.
yellow book.
No,
Yes.
yes, it's,
I still have it.
we should. We
I
should
have
go,
it.
we
Just
should
like
go
it's
through
not
it.
as perfectly.
It was a lot. It had a lot of things. Okay, rather has a lot of things.
Prayer items.
A lot of answered prayers.
Yeah.
I think it's all the prayers were answered exceedingly abundantly. Everything we wrote in that book, there were prayer items. It was crazy seasons when you are seeing marriage and you don't know where you'll get money. When you are seeing, I remember us budgeting things for their house.
For his house. Like now you got a new job, and then now he was moving to a new house. So we wrote things that he want for his house. And what else? We even wrote a budget for our wedding. We had to control when we
For our wedding, for the things we need in the house.
Yes.
And this is before now you dated for 7 years.
That was
That was early.
That
like
was early.
2015.
No, I'm saying
Yeah.
you wrote the budget and then you went ahead to date. For
After
7 more
writing,
years.
we dated for around four
Yes.
more years.
Oh, 4 more years.
Yes.
No, we dated for 6 years, babe.
After writing the yellow book.
Oh, yeah, after writing the yellow book, yeah.
The yellow book
4.5 years.
came by as we were continuing because we needed to write things. And the job was,
It was a prayer item.
it was a prayer item, but it was not good as such. But the Lord just had his ways. It led me to where I am today, 5 years later, probably. And
I actually remember now it got from so just zamani ndo alikuwa na sponsor our dates.
Yeah.
Where now we were like the early period. Now it got to a point where it was me in a way sponsoring it, and I was very okay knowing that it's a season, it won't last. So basically, it was really really nice. But one thing I do appreciate is having friends who ask you how are you, how is your relationship, and we're intentional on having people who are already married.
Yeah.
We made ourselves vulnerable to many. would go and tell people who we think are good that by then as we are dating and we desire to do life with you guys. So we'd go check up on people, hang out with them, and as you interact with people, they get to question you because you've opened that space. So one thing I appreciate is having people who check on you. Yeah.
Nice.